Let's talk about, because trust me, they come in handy. You may now leave the video. There's two big misconceptions about sign language, and the first is that they're universal, which isn't true. There's hundreds of different sign languages all over the world, and they're generally not mutually intelligible. They come from different places, and they work in different ways. The second is that sign languages are just the signed versions of their spoken equivalents, which is definitely not true. For example, American and British English are just dialects of the same language, but American Sign Language and British Sign Language are completely different languages that came from different places. Both of them also work completely differently compared to English, like grammar-wise, so yeah, different languages. A third misconception I'd like to add is that sign languages are only used by deaf people, which also isn't true, but let's talk about them. So strictly speaking, a sign language is just a language that uses the visual and manual side of communication rather than the oral side. Wherever there are deaf people, there are sign languages, which is to say, everywhere, and they often form a very important part of a local deaf community. For the record, the most widely used sign language in the world is Indo-Pakistani Sign Language, the language of more than 15 million people in South Asia. Here are two others you might be interested in. Martha's Vineyard Sign Language was used for a long time on Martha's Vineyard, an island in Massachusetts where hereditary deafness was extremely and unusually common. Because of this, the language was widely used and understood among both deaf and hearing people. A second really cool example is Plains Sign Language, also known as Hand Talk, which emerged as a lingua franca facilitating trade between different groups of people indigenous to the Great Plains region of North America. It's used by deaf and hearing people alike across a vast swath of the continent as both a secondary tool of intercultural communication and just a day-to-day language. Suffice to say, sign languages are not given nearly enough credit for how varied and interesting they are. Hopefully this video encourages you to read even more, because there's a lot of stuff I didn't even mention.